event here at Nexus Esports on the corner of 6th and Columbus in
historic downtown Waco. To start off the evening, we're going to have Christian and Mike. Christian's going to be playing 8-Whack Goblins. Mike is going to be playing Norn Sisters at the beginning of this tournament. Good way to start things out. Two very, very different decks. Ed, what do you know about 8-Whack?
Goblins. Goblins and more goblins. Goblin Bushwhacker. There's the other Bushwhacker as well. Just basically goblins on goblins.
And it looks like we've got a...
Foundry District Denizen?
Yeah, Foundry Street Denizen.
That's it. He pumps with every goblin you play or red spell you play.
Red creature you play, yeah. We got a pile driver coming on next.
Something interesting about the Norn Sisters, I'm going to bring it up. It's an interesting little card. 1 white, 1/1. Got reprinted in Ultimate Masters recently, originally in Cold Snap. Actually, only in Cold Snap otherwise. But pay 1, reveal X white cards from your hand and sacrifice, and you gain 3 times X life.
And that is an Auriok something. I'm not entirely sure. Eight Whack is coming out nice and fast, though. Another Foundry Street Denizen coming out. Actually seeing a heavy amount of mana on the board right now. About 3 mana is where 8-Whack wants to be. Mog Fanatic coming in.
Let me look at Mog Fanatic real fast.
Skirk Prospector.
Oh, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Looks like he's going to block the Foundry Street Denizen, and that creature's going to survive. I'm going to go find out what that is real quick.
Ooh, you have to find out those two. I'm seeing a what is that? Soul Warden into the field. Soul Warden being one of the 2 Soul Sisters of the Soul Sister combo. The other one being Soul's Attendant. It's a very powerful card in that it for every time a creature, any creature, enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each of the various Soul Sisters you might have. The Soul Sisters deck, which is what Norn Sisters is based on, is all based around putting out as many of the Soul Sisters as possible and then throwing out creatures that are low to the ground and allowing it to pump up your life. And then you would use something like a Johnny's Pridemate or Archangel of Thune to pump your creatures up, causing your life gain to equal swinging power.
Genesis Chamber and Auriok Champion.
Alright, Auriok Champion.
Pro black and red. Excellent second turn play. Ed, there's a time when the Google machine comes in handy.
So anyway, we see that the Soul Sister almost immediately gets put off the field. I believe...
Oh, this is a Genesis Chamber, by the way.
Yeah, good old Genesis Chamber.
2 of them on board. Oh, my goodness. Another Soul Warden coming in. This is going to be a lot of life.
Yeah, I mean, Genesis Chamber, whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, if it's untapped, that creature's controller puts a 1/1 colorless mirror token into play.
Yep, and those mirror tokens trigger the Soul's Attendant, gaining life every time he plays a card, even more off of just the Soul Sister herself.
Of course, this is a dangerous card when played in the wrong deck, and this can backfire a little bit here on Mike, because if Christian gets out enough Goblin token generation, he just makes a bunch of mirrors as well, because Genesis Chamber affects both players.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, don't get me wrong. In Soul Warden, it makes sense, right? Gaining even more life. But when it comes to playing against another heavy aggro deck like this one, it's probably not the best idea. He's going to be getting mirrors too. And this is going to be a lot of damage coming through. I guess he had the tokens to block out.
He blocked out a lot of it, and that was good. One of the things he did block, I think that was Warren Instigator. A very important card to block because that gives the Goblins a lot of power.
Mentor of the Meek coming into play.
Very powerful card in this particular setup. As it comes into play, tokens get generated. Really important to note that for each token that comes into play, Mike could pay a mana to draw a card, which I think he tapped out to draw a card.
Yes, he did. Now, unfortunately, 8 whack here has started top decking, and goblins never really want to be top decking. This is going to be a Krenko mob boss. And Krenko is going to start generating a lot of tokens.
Good old Krenko, probably one of the better legendary goblins ever printed because of his ability to just double up on goblins every turn. With that Skirk Prospector, that could have been fairly devastating.
Yeah, Krenko and a Skirk Prospector often lead to massive amount of mana gen. In fact, in certain goblin decks, such as Fecundity combo, it's just too good at that point. You just tap him to double the amount of goblins that you might have and have an endless engine of cycling and sacrificing for more mana to play more spells. That is going to be a White Mane Lion.
White Mane Lion, of course, bouncing creatures. In fact, I think it's just bouncing itself to get the generation of mirrors. Mike over here is just solidly having gained a obtuse amount of life. And, yeah, like, he just basically gets a whole bunch of tasty little mirrors.
So, here's the thing. 8 whack operates on the same concept of burn. You want to count to 20 as quickly as possible. It's a little more reliable because you're not just burning through cards in your hand that are one-offs. You don't just play it and it goes away forever. That's going to be a Goblin Grenade. I don't know if I really would have played that here.
My Goblin Gate is definitely your execute in any Goblin deck. It's not your I just need to get damage through this turn. I would have definitely saved the Goblin at the very least because he didn't realize it. But Genesis Chamber is only affected by non-token creatures entering the field. You saw he tried to increase his mirror count, and he didn't. Like he said, hey, that doesn't affect it because you just made a token. Tokens don't make tokens.
Right. Looks like Krenko is going to double up on the amount of goblins in play.
I believe there's a land in Christian's deck there. You're right. Right now...
That's going to be an Avacyn. That might just spell the end of this game.
I'm trying to remember which one that is. Because I don't think that's obviously...
It's that one right there, Archangel Avacyn. A hefty creature.
Very. Not as powerful as the original Avacyn, but also not as expensive, right? The original Avacyn, of course, basically was everything I own is now indestructible. I have just played probably the ultimate Timmy defense card in the game. But this one, of course, creatures you control are indestructible till end of turn. And whenever a non-angel creature token dies, you can transform it.
It's a very powerful transformed card, too. It's 6/5. Flying, and could have sworn it had something else.
It has flying and vigilance, and it has flash. Of course, it turns into Avacyn the Purifier, and when this creature transforms, it deals 3 damage to each creature and each opponent.
So we see another Soul's Attendant come out, and another Mentor of the Meek here. This is going to generate a ton of life and a ton of tokens, and it's going to draw him a ton of cards.
Yeah, basically, this is the machine that you normally see in Soul Sisters, and it's going off. I'd actually like to figure out what Mikey needs the red mana for, because I don't think he's played a single thing that needed red mana. I mean, have you caught anything that he needed that played red mana?
Not yet. There might be an ability that I'm not aware of, but other than that, I haven't seen anything requiring a red mana cost. Nor black, for that matter, and I believe that's no, that's just a very shiny plains, and the camera's catching it kind of weird. Coming in with 4 mirrors and an Avacyn. The Avacyn, of course, is going to get through. There's nothing really that can be done to stop it.
That being said, he's not blocking the mirrors, because if he blocks the mirror,
he He loses his goblins.
He loses everything. Although, to be fair, Mikey, I think, will also lose almost everything. He won't lose the RX champion, though. That's actually an interesting thing to note.
That's going to be the scoop.
I mean, at this point, the 8-whack, it's behind. It didn't get enough damage in. Mikey got 61 life. There's just nothing you can do about that.
So, as I was saying beforehand, before I got distracted by the gameplay that was going on, 8-whack operates in the same way as burn. You have to count to 20 as fast as possible. Any deck that forces you to count to something other than the number 20 messes with your gameplay. You have to be able to get the damage in reliably. If you can't, or if it just doesn't matter, then 8-whack tends to fall short.
I mean, that's literally, as you said, just the gist of burn in general. I mean, a quick 5 life gain too early for burn, that shuts burn down. It's like, but I needed to count, and you've made me uncount.
I am surprised that I didn't see Goblin Chain Whirler put into this, I must admit. If you want to go ahead and look up Goblin Chain Whirler so we can share it with the audience.
I mean, the whole audience knows what Goblin Chain Whirl is, but I get what you're trying to get at. Coming out of Dominaria, I do believe. Yep, the 3/3 for 3 that just puts a damage on each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. A one-sided ping wipe.
But so good in things like this. Since it targets all, it gets around things that Auroch Champion, for example.
Unfortunately not. Remember, while it can't be targeted,
protection. That's
Red
correct.
has the hardest time dealing with protection because most of Red's destruction is damage-based. But I do agree, like, it normally would get around it.
I was thinking hexproof there. I apologize, audience.
I gotta say, though, it was an interesting card for Mikey to throw in there. And, like, it didn't seem to have any synergy with his deck, the Auroch Champion. It just kind of existed. So, really lucky for Mikey to have.
I believe it does something other than have protection from red and black, but I saw protection from red and black on there, and that's really all that matters in this matchup.
Definitely.
White creatures with protection from red and black, by the way, tend to be pains in the butt.
I believe... No, that was green and black. I was thinking of Mirren Champion.
Mirren Crusader.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so yes, Auroch Champion is basically another Soul Sister. But it's a 2-drop Soul Sister with protection from black and red, so it can't be burned or killed off with your convenient kill spells.
It's actually a really good card. It's a phenomenal card, actually. Core Firewalker is another one of those one-off white creatures that tends to get thrown into things like this just for blocker purposes.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, it has its other purpose, too, that it prevents the damage of a red source as well by sacrificing it. But I've watched a red deck just literally die to Firewalkers. Couldn't do anything.
Nope. So the fact that this deck that Mike is playing can gain so much life leads me to believe that we're probably not going to see a victory for 8-whack here. And that's becoming a little more and more common these days. These hyper-aggressive decks tend not to do as well as they were. Most of Modern is made up of combo these days, or anything that delays the game. White life gain is, in its own way, a control deck.
In fact, you almost made me feel bad for the hyper-aggro decks, because I've complained, I think even on this particular casting stream, about how fast hyper-aggro has gotten, how tempo-based it is, but you're right. Basically, if you get to turn 4, you turn the game around and your opponent can't recover. Because that's what they've become. They've become all-in 3-turn decks. And if they don't win by turn 3, they're done.
You're looking at a format that has its fair share of instant speed 4-drop board wipes in the flavor of Supreme Verdict.
Not instant speed, but I get what your point.
Oh, that's right.
Settle the Wreckage, I think, is instant speed.
Settle the Wreckage is instant speed because it's done on attacking creatures. That's a 5-drop, but you gain life for it and everything's exiled. No, you don't gain life for it, but everything is exiled.
Everything's exiled, but it basically paths every attacking or blocking creature.
Yeah. But you've got Bantu's Last Reckoning.
3-drop board wipe, just straight up board wipe.
I mean, yeah, it time walks you, but by turn 3, hyper aggro decks tend to be out of gas. They're top decking.
Especially if you're playing black, you could easily have been playing hand hate to slow them down even more. That Bantu's, I mean, if you set it up right, your turn 1, turn 2 can do nothing but hand hating and anything past turn 3. Your turn 3 is a board wipe.
So we've got a Legion. Oh god, the little Legion Goblin.
Legion Loyalist.
Legion Loyalist.
Fantastic little card too. Comes in handy in a pinch. I've actually lost to a Legion Loyalist and only a Legion Loyalist because I made a deck that made nothing but tokens. I mean, this guy goes in goblins. Oops, hold on. I think that was the wrong art. Give me a sec to fix that.
That's the right.
No, hold on.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. No, he goes in Boros, he goes in Goblins, he goes in this, he goes in Burn. He just goes in everything. If he's not main board, he's sideboard. A 1-drop, 1/1 haste is always good, and that battalion effect is hard to beat, ladies and gentlemen. Like, if you swing with at least him and 2 other creatures, they gain first strike, trample, and can't be blocked by tokens.
The inability to be blocked by tokens is phenomenal. And this was a great sideboard choice by Christian. We've seen the amount of tokens that Mike's deck can create and how often he uses them to chump out. And that can't happen so long as Legion Loyalist is on the field.
Even more devastating is just the fact that Legion Loyalist also gives all those creatures trample. So all the non-tokens that are blocking are just getting run over. Oh, and first strike, by the way. First strike as well.
Yes, this includes cards like Goblin Pile Driver, which become insanely huge with just a little bit of support.
I am seeing a lot of play here from Mike. He is actually sustaining his life a little bit. But he dropped a Soul Sister turn 1 and 2.
Which got immediately Mog Fanatic.
Oh, definitely. Just not going to let that happen.
And it looks like Mike is having a hard time keeping critters on the board. Now, this type of creature-based control, and it is very much control, because he's utilizing his creatures to gain life and keep board presence.
And that is honestly the biggest weakness of Soul Sisters. If you cannot keep your sisters on the field, they're useless. I don't think this was the right move for Mike. I think he might just be moving to game 3 here. That might be game. Yep, that's going to be game. That's just Christian on the play there. You see, Mike didn't get that turn 2 champion, which basically is part of the reason why he was able to stabilize in the previous game so hard.
Yeah, that Auroch champion. The Auroch champion is a lot like other cards with protection from black and red. Protection from black and red is just a huge factor.
What is it, Fiendslayer Paladin? Or no, the predecessor to Fiendslayer Paladin.
Fiendslayer Paladin has protection from black and red spells.
Yes.
Not creatures, but he's like a 3/3 first striker. I can't
with
remember.
lifelink.
Yeah.
But there's a predecessor to him, in Paladin Invec.
Paladin Invec. There's also Mirren Crusader.
Well, though that was green and black, but yeah.
Well, I mean, green and black probably has the most potent removal package in the game at this point in time, so...
True.
Mirren Crusader's not a bad choice right now. All of you mono white knight players, take note.
Also take note that he pairs with one of the most powerful equipments in the game.
Sword of Light and Shadow?
Sword of War and Peace.
War and Peace.
The combination, the synergy between Mirren Crusader and Sword of War and Peace is so devastating. I've watched somebody take 20 damage on turn 4.
Gee. Interesting way of drawing from Christian, by the way. Laying out the cards like that and picking them up. I like it. Ensures a 7-card draw. Both players checking hands right now. Might see a mulligan. Say 8-whack doesn't normally look at their hand that long. It's usually I'm keeping this or I'm not.
I think Mike's just kind of fidgeting, fingering his hand.
You.
Be reasonable here.
As we continue these Friday night streams, you'll learn that I personally hate watching players flick their cards. I can't stand. I understand it's a nervous tick, and a lot of Magic players can't help it. Please stop, ladies and gentlemen. Please. You paid good money for those pieces of cardboard, and yes, I know they're in sleeves, but they can still get bent. Just, you've seen your hand like 3 dozen times. You know what's in it.
Hello, Zesty. Welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight, by the way?
See, I know I'm not the only one. Like if when I used to play competitively, if I I would just set my hand down right in front of me and I wouldn't touch it. Ed here and I. Why are you angry? Ed here has watched me do it when we play a few times. If I'm just watching for the next move, I just set my hand down, and I have a potential response. It's usually on the very top. That way, if they throw something, I can just respond with whatever's on the top. There's no reason to get nervous and flick, ladies and gentlemen. No reason at all. First and foremost, if you don't do it all the time, like Mike at least does it right. He does it constantly. If you only do it when you get nervous, if you only do it when you have a play in your hand, flick your cards. If you observe Mike as he plays, he constantly flicks through his hand. It's a lot like poker. It's a tell. An experienced player can watch how you act and see if you might have a play in your hand, whether or not you get excited and start flicking, stuff like that. Not good for your cards. Not good for your hand health. Zesty, I'm not quite sure I follow. By the way, back to the game. We are seeing a massive...
Honestly, a massive, underwhelming board presence for Mike E here. I was expecting a little bit more.
massive swing, 10 damage, turn 3. My goodness, this is 8 whack coming through. Now that's going to be another Auroch. It's not the champion, I don't think. No, that is an Auroch champion. It's just the older artwork for it, I think. No, they don't think about having backups. Most people don't think about backup plans. The sad part of life. Ooh, a ratchet bomb coming out. Now this is a good play. Now we're not going to be able to see him get through here. A Legion Loyalist is actually the best play you could have right now. If he has a Legion Loyalist in hand, that's game. If not, did he let the pile driver through? Oh, no. Oh, block was declared. Block was declared.
Hold on. Just chill. I think he said pile driver, and then he put down it in front of the wrong card. So then you're going to get into the specifics of, is it the verbal or is it the motioned?
Well, I'm just going to go ask.
Let him keep playing. He knew what he wanted to block. His opponent knew what he wanted to block. There's no miscommunication here.
Pretty sure that would have been game.
I most definitely would have. And that is a Soul Sister coming down. That is going to be 2 life for each creature coming into play.
So
Christian's got to be very careful about what he wants to swing with now. Mikey has enough creatures to block Christian's board state. Excuse me. Ratchet Bomb's not really there, and any creature coming out is just 2 life for Christian S.
Mikey.
Sorry, you're right. For Mikey.
No, that's going to blow up a Mog Fanatic to get rid of a critter.
You know, he's gonna get the life out of it. He's gonna get another life out of it.
That's a bushwhacker coming in. Now he has to block the bushwhacker, or not the bushwhacker, but the pile driver here. And also, Zesty, I know exactly how you feel. That happens to me at my job all the time. You need to ask your employer to find more consistent help. Still a massive amount of damage. Was that really only 2 damage?
I mean, Mog Fanatics 1 damage. And I can't remember what is that? Skirk Prospector over there? Skirk Prospector.
No, that's a bushwhacker.
No, on Christian's right. Is that a bushwhacker on the right? Alright, now
Yes.
we're seeing something with that red mayonnaise. But I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna go check.
Soul Sister coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is in fact game 3 between Christian and Mike here. So it is for keeps. Fortunately, Mikey may have finally found a way to stabilize.
Red man is for Norn the Wary.
Interesting little creature here. Whenever a player plays a spell or a creature attacks, remove him from the game, return him to the play under its owner's control at the end of turn.
Now, with Soul's Attendant, that's really good because you've always got a creature bouncing in and out of the battlefield, giving you more life. And as we see here, Mike has gone from within lethal range to A-OK.
I have to kind of wonder what Christian's doing here. He's holding on to that ratchet bomb. I would have blown up that. I would have detonated it immediately. The second it was.
He has too much on presence with 2 drops.
Does he?
Mm-hmm. Almost everything's a 2-drop.
Okay, Pile Driver, Warren Instigator.
The Bushwhackers.
Okay, I guess.
All right. I honestly agree with you. I would blow everything right now.
I would have swung and then blown everything because at this point, Mikey is. He's too powerful. He literally just saved his Auric champion, losing just the. What is that, the Fleece Main Lion? I mean.
Like right now, Ratchet Bomb kills all of. Well, it was the White Mane Lion. If he blows a Ratchet Bomb now, he doesn't get rid of the Soul Sisters.
And he did, in fact, detonate the Ratchet Bomb, I think. Which I think he did. There's a lot of things going on there. Honestly, at this point, Mikey is at 78 life.
And too much of a board state.
Yeah.
He can literally just sit here and take the damage.
Christian put up a good showing there. Definitely got high damage on there, but Mikey was able to play around it. Get back to stabilized, and yeah.
Oh, so here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. It's still possible that he could win.
You talking about Christian?
Yeah.
I agree.
And it all comes down to a Legion Loyalist and Pile Driver. If you can Cranko every turn, it doesn't matter how much life he gains. One Pile Driver with the Legion Loyalist trigger gives everything first strike and trample. Like he has to block.
The problem is that he is gaining just an exponential amount of life with each creature.
Sure, and the reason I mentioned the Pile Driver, go ahead and look that up for me. +2/+0 for each other attacking goblin.
Yes.
right? Which means you can do an exponential amount of damage, right? And with First Strike and Trample, he can manage to wipe the board if they attempt to block. Like, it's possible, but there's not a whole lot of card draw in just good old-fashioned red. He doesn't really have much choice here. That's 104 life.
That is a mirror entity. Suddenly this gets a little bit bad. So mirror entity, which is part of a really cool combo, but not, you won't be seeing it in this deck, of course, is a 3-drop 1/1 shapeshifter that makes all your creatures XX depending on how much mana you spend. Just all-around powerful card. I think I talked with Mike E about this deck last Tuesday at our Modern Mixer event, where we'll be running the Gauntlet soon, hopefully having it on this stream. But this is one of his alternate win conditions. Basically, at some point, he's going to have enough creatures on the field and enough things going on that he will swing, tap out mana, and just go, they are all 7/7s, 8/8s, whatever.
This triple-digit life. You know, a Felidar Sovereign wouldn't be amiss here.
Oh, definitely not.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever make a life gain deck, put the darn life-dependent alternate win condition in.
Of course. And I'm not even sure. I think Mikey might even have a Felidar Sovereign in here, but usually, even in decks like this, it's a 1, maybe 2 of, because you don't want to overload yourself with them.
Right.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, which I do believe everyone who's currently watching the stream does, but...
No.
You're a no.
Felidar. There you go. It's a cat beast.
It's more than just a cat beast. It's a cat beast with lifelink and vigilance.
And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. It's an amazing card. It is a little expensive. It's a 6-drop in white. But, I mean, at this point, he has almost 200 life. Like, he could eat a full swing here and still have 40 left over. Like, I have to admit, if I were Mike right now, I would just eat the damage. Let him swing with everything, and when it's all tapped, swing back.
I mean, Mike is generating a absolutely obtuse amount of life every turn. He's gaining 3 life for every creature entering the battlefield.
Yeah, Zesty, you can do that. It requires the dedication of a Nykthos, without a doubt. But, a Nykthos is one of those lands that is really good, but a lot of people kind of keep on the back burner. It's legendary, it requires an activation cost, it's completely dependent on permanents you control, and the mana symbols therein. While yes, in Soul Sisters it works, 343 life. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll excuse me for one moment.
Oh, so it looks like he actually pumped up his creatures and blocked an assortment of goblins coming in there. All right, so here what we're seeing, I believe that was Archangel of Thune that just got played in a Soul Sisters deck. That's usually Death.
That's gonna be game.
That was an Archangel of Thune, correct?
Yes.
Exceedingly powerful card for any kind of like instance based life gain. And what I mean by that is each instance of life gain anthems your creatures by +1/+1 counters. He played that. All his creatures got +3/+3. He can now pump them with mana and just swing.
Which is what happened. 346 life. Believe it or not, that's not an accurate life total. On that last swing, he blocked creatures and still took 127 damage. He could have not blocked and still not only been at over 100 life. He could have done it. He could have taken the full swing, gained life off of it, and just swung back. I don't even know why he blocked, to be completely honest.
And did
That's
Christian
just me.
actually swing out? He didn't leave any blockers for himself?
Yeah, he swung out.
Which, I mean, Mikey then immediately dropped an Archangel of Thune, made all his creatures plus, and then he can just simply buff them with
Yes,
clearance.
it was good games, and Mikey is going to take it in 3. Well played. That is the highest life amount I've ever seen in a single round of Magic the Gathering.
Ha! I'll tell you about mine later. But for now, that was a good game all around. And stay with us. We'll be right back after a short commercial break from our sponsors. This has been the round 1 of Friday Night Magic Modern event here at Nexus Esports. We're your casters, Edward Teague.
And Patrick Cosgrove, and that is some beautiful card art on Archangel Food. Absolutely.
See you in a few minutes. And we are back with tonight's Friday Night Magic Modern Event. Once again, your casters, Edward Teague.
And Patrick Cosgrove. And we've got a fun match. Both of these players didn't win their first game, but that's okay. They were playing something interesting, and I wanted to see some interesting stuff on the stream tonight. We've got Restore Balance, or just Restore Border Post. That's realistically what it is.
Being played by a regular up here, Lucas McWerster, I believe. And then, of course, Jake Bourne, one of my favorite people from his name alone.
Oh, my God, it's Jake Bourne.
And, yes, he has mono green aggro. Simple, straight to the point. We actually saw last week a mono green aggro deck stomping the crap out of the competition.
Oh, tell them to reset the life counter.
No, I'm afraid Lucas is just going to have to put up with having 280-something life. So, yeah, interesting decks coming through here. Mono Green, has gotten a lot of tools recently. Specifically, one of the better tools they've gotten is the...
the number got too high, it's stuck.
They fixed it. Okay. Yeah. No, so one of the things they've... Green has gotten in the recent years, Steel Leaf Champion, I believe is what it's called. Steel Leaf Champion, let me bring it up for reference here, but Steel Leaf Champion, Patrick, can you tell us what is retarded about Steel Leaf Champion?
Steel Leaf Champion is a 3-drop 5/4 that can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. It's not considered main board because it costs 3 green, and whoever thinks that was a limiting factor up at Wizards of the Coast really need to reconsider card design. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 green is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Goblin Chain Whirler costs 3 red, and people still splash red to play it. Right? Having obtuse mana costs that require specifics are no longer a limiting factor with the amount of dual-colored lands in this game, or even lands that just produce every color of mana.
Don't forget also that due to the Devation mechanics of, what is it, your favorite plane? Theros.
Well, one of my favorite planes is Theros, and yes, when it comes to Nykthos, Steel Leaf Champion is about as good as it gets.
I mean, Steel Leaf Champion alone gives you the mana back spent to activate Nykthos.
And we've got Dryad Militant coming out. Oh, 2/1 for 1. And we've got Border Posts coming out.
Oh, I don't like that card art at all. So give me a second, ladies and gentlemen, and I will find an alternate card art. There is, of course, Dryad Militant. If an instant or sorcery put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. A fantastic limited rest in peace to beat the piss out of anyone trying to storm out of their graveyard.
Absolutely. Also, a 2/1 body for 1 is never bad. Anybody who says it is wrong inherently and needs to quit playing this game.
Honestly, a 2/1 for 1 with no limiting factor. I mean, you could argue that it's potentially self-limiting, but let's be real here. It's not.
No, and we've got some more critters hitting the board, one of which is already a Steel Leaf Champion. And it looks like Restore Balance is also already out on the board.
Restore Balance, of course, is an interesting older idea based on the original card Balance. And you're going to see the combo here relatively quickly. But Restore Balance, of course, you suspend it for 1 white mana. And each player chooses a number of lands he/she controls equal to the fewest number of lands controlled by any given player.
Not that it seems to matter. That's going to be game. Unfortunately, these green aggro decks are just too fast right now. You need to have the control in your hand if you're going to open up for this when it comes to things like Border Post.
Yeah, Border Post is unfortunately just way too slow. The idea behind the deck, I'm just going to go and spoil it for everyone because I don't know if this was actually ever going to go off, is to use Border Post as your mana source, basically mana rocking, using the Border Post to keep your own lands off the battlefield. Then you simply play the Restore Balance, it goes out, and you blow up all your enemies' lands. The problem is the earliest thing's going to come out is what, turn 6?
Whoa, creatures, lands, everything. It blows up everything.
That's true, sorry. I apologize. Basically, it'll get rid of everything but artifacts.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to have a ton of artifacts.
Yeah.
But the limiting factor here is that's a great control mechanic.
If it goes
it's going to come out turn 6. If it goes off, it goes off. It can beat a control player pretty savagely, but an aggro player just gets the free swing in your face. A combo player gets 6 turns to do what they want to do. Unless you've got spells in hand to use that mana rock mana on, you're not really doing much.
And unfortunately, that's where poor Lucas kind of ended up. He had all the mana base that he needed, and he was getting plenty of border posts, but he didn't have the board wipe.
I do believe that is correct.
Yes, with As Foretold, it does come out as early as turn 3, but he obviously didn't have the As Foretold in hand and no way to get it out there. But
For those who don't remember, As Foretold was an interesting little card that came out of Amulet. I mean, I don't know what you say about it. It was just a really good enchantment all around. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on it, and then you may pay 0 for mana for a spell rather than pay its mana cost. If it's converted mana cost, it's X or left, where X is the number of time counters on it. Of course, As Foretold coming out on turn 3 with 0 time counters, but all suspend cards like this have a CMC of 0.
mm-hmm.
That's not to say every suspend card, obviously. Riftbolt has a CMC of 3, but suspends for 1.
Correct. As Foretold is a fantastic card to get around a lot of the suspend effects. It's definitely something that you need to see an opening hand when you're playing border posts like this, and I don't think Lucas had it there. Hopefully he gets it this time. I'd like to see this go off. Not that I'm rooting for any one player, but it is always nice to see one of these offshoot combos coming off nice and early and actually working out.
I would laugh a little bit if Jake here put in Naturalize or Nature's Grass, something to hit artifacts and just start pumping out artifact hate.
Reclamation Sage.
That's going to come out turn 3, which might be a little slow. The reason I say Naturalize and Nature's Grasp is because those will come out turn 1, turn 2. And basically, Lucas is trading lands for mana rocks. And if those mana rocks get blown up, he gets put behind significantly. He can't, if he can't get out the Restore Balance normally or can't As Foretold it, it hurts.
No, you are absolutely right. But when it comes to green, especially just green aggression, green aggro, green creature control, a lot of people tend to forget that there are a lot of green creatures that just hate on certain things when they come in. Reclamation Sage is one of my favorite examples. Reclamation Sage is a 2/1 body for 3 that's easy to cast with being just 2 and 1 green, and it blows up an artifact or enchantment upon entry. It is a super good card.
Oh, let's not forget, what kind of creature is it?
It's an elf.
It is an elf. It pairs perfectly in Elf Tribal.
So if they've got some annoying enchantment like Ghostly Prisoner or some such,
Snaring Bridge.
yeah, just play yourself some Reclamation Sages.
And then you throw out that Reclamation Sage with like 2 or 3 Lord effects on the field. Elven Clan Caller, Elvish Archdruid, or Archdruid, whatever you want to call it.
This is a bad start for Lucas.
There comes the border post out. I believe that is an experimental one, and I'm not sure what the other creature is there.
Looks like an experiment 1 and a... Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's rank word now. Double rank. Jiminy.
I don't know what it is, but it has at least +4/+0 in trample. That
So,
is a
we're
devastating bit of power there.
7 damage. Jiminy.
So going into, yep, he's just going to shake it up, and that's going to probably be the fastest round ever seen here at F&M. Less than 10 minutes for 2-0 game. Well done by Jake B here. This deck's probably going to need to go back to the drawing board a little bit. I understand that it's a deck and it's a well-known combo, but maybe not the deck itself. Maybe Lucas needs to go back over the deck, review how it plays, make sure he's got everything.
So, I disagree. I think what we're seeing here is...
Okay, that's nice of them. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that the players are actually just going to go ahead and play a round or a game 3 just to play it and see what happens. Very nice and very sportsmanlike of them to go ahead and give us another game.
or at least take another shot at it. So I don't think that he really needs to go back to the drawing board, right? I know it seems like he might have to because he lost so quickly, but I think what Lucas is seeing here is how local meta differs from competitive meta. Right? It's something that players like myself and a few others have relied on for years to make their collections bigger through FNMs. Um, our local meta supports aggression. It supports quick combo play. We've seen in the past 3 weeks that I can remember maybe 4 control decks. And none of them did very well, including Lantern Control, which is one of the biggest, baddest control decks in the format right now. And there was just very little he could do.
Well, to be fair, actually, that Lantern Control deck did do exceedingly well. He just didn't 4-0.
You are absolutely right. He did mulligan down to 4 both games, which undoubtedly set him behind. I don't know. I'll probably end up taking a look at the deck after it's all said and done and trying to see if I could think of anything personally that might make it better. But Lucas has always been good about building his deck, so I'm kind of confused as to what happened here, if that's the case.
I mean, you're not too far off there, but like when you think about it, think of the creatures that have been coming out in green recently. Like we already said, the Steel Leaf Champion.
The stupid dinosaur out of Ixalan.
Which one? The Primal Hunger?
The one that you can, yeah, Galta.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen that guy drop turn 4 for 2 mana.
Yeah.
And I understand that he hadn't have haste or anything like that. He's just a 12/12 body
with trample.
But Carnage Tyrant, my God. Like, Green Stompy has its place, and in Modern especially, you can ramp out relatively quickly. I don't know what that is, what creature it is with haste, because it's swinging the turn it comes in.
Biogenic Ooze.
Biogenic Ooze.
Go ahead and pull that up. Thank you for that.
I think that's spelled correctly. No, not Biogenic.
Oh, he's just saying that.
Oh, yes, no, Biogenic Ooze is a good one. Strangleroot Geist. And a Steel Leaf Champion. Steel Leaf Champion is so darn good. One of these off-color green creatures that has haste. Undying and haste. A 2/1 for 2 with haste and undying and green. That's really good.
Also, just want to point out, that's a spirit. That's a spirit. I know a spirit player locally who might enjoy that. Maybe.
Yeah, there are other good green creatures, but there's no reason that Carnage Tyrant couldn't see Modern play. It is a 7/6
for 6.
For 6 with trample and hexproof, and it can't be countered. It's super good, and it looks like that's going to be the other game. I think mono green aggression can do well in the current Modern meta. There's no reason it really can't. It has all the tools it needs. It lacks some control. But with the addition of things like Beast Within and Rabid Bite and other fight effects that have been coming out, green has reliable sources of creature removal as well. You can deal with big creatures. You can deal with enchantments and artifacts, especially in green. And I've even seen some play with land removal via Plow Under and Eternal Witness. Like, there's a lot of things you can do in just mono green these days that I don't think are being explored at the Modern level, especially competitively.
Well, I think it was last week that I was talking about the utility that exists in green. Like, when you combine the utility with the speed, green is becoming very much not the simpleton's color anymore.
No, it just used to be what you wanted to do when you wanted to turn your dude sideways and get massive amounts of damage through. But we're actually kind of seeing a change in stratagem when it comes to the colors. We're seeing more leaning towards Rakdos if you just want to turn dudes sideways and win the game.
Meanwhile, red is gaining more control mechanics, green gaining more utility mechanics, blue is gaining aggression mechanics.
No, I think we're going to see Teamer come out on top as the color combinations go for optimal setups in standard. And if Ravnica Allegiance was anything to judge off of, and Dominaria as well, these standard sets that are coming out are going to have a heavier and heavier effect on the modern format, and we might need to start paying a little closer attention to it for the modern format. Um, I'm really excited about the next set, and I'm hoping to see more. Ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday we will be having a Magic Mixer.
Yep, modern Magic Mixer here on Tuesdays on the corner of 6th and Columbus, right here at Nexus Esports. We will be running a event currently, still kind of meshing it out, but we hope to be calling it the Gauntlet. Come up, play the staff with the decks owned by Nexus Esports, and if you can win a 6-game grudging series of singleton matches without sideboarding, but with foreknowledge of what you're playing against, if you can win all 6 back-to-back, you will win a prize by the end of the night. So it should be an interesting little bit. We hope to, if we can get enough people up here, stream some of the players running the gauntlet, and all around it should be a pretty flavorful and interesting little event.
Most definitely, but one of the things I was going to...
The 6 decks will actually be chosen from the selection the store has.
The store does have more than 6 decks. They range from Tier 1 to Tier 2 in Modern. And there's, I'll even ask what they might be thinking about running this Tuesday and let you guys know. The reason I wanted to bring up the Modern Mixer on Tuesdays, though, is if you guys don't really want to play, please still come on up. We're going to be here if you want to talk Magic Theory, Theory Craft, look at decks that might be off meta, talk about the future and past of the game. By all means, come around the table, pull up a chair, and have a chat with us. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really am glad you enjoyed it, Al. And for anybody who's feeling a little bit down about Magic, maybe you feel like the current meta just isn't you. Maybe you feel a little bit down because whatever you were playing is out and you can't afford the next big thing. Trust me, we've all been there. This Tuesday night event is a way to come up and instead of competing against literally some of the best players in the state, because we have several state champions here in Waco.
We do.
This is a way for you to compete against, honestly, yourself. You bring your best to a pre-understood series of challenges.
It'll get you thinking outside the box, but more to the point on that, Magic burnout is a thing. And if you're feeling kind of burned out, come on up and talk to your pals Ed and Pat. We'll help you get through it, because every now and again, all you need is one of our goofy butts to say, here, try this. It might not work, but it'll be fun.
I'll even give you the world's manliest hug. Let's go ahead and take us a short break here before the start of the next round. But if last round was any indication, I think we actually might be seeing some pretty quick turnovers in these rounds.
Most definitely. I know we've got one Amulet Titan because it can't be a modern event without an Amulet Titan deck, ladies and gentlemen. You're just gonna have to get used to that. But I'm gonna go ahead and step outside. Ed's probably gonna go get a drink, talk to the players. We'll see you after this commercial break. Please stick around.
And we are back with the Friday Night Magic Modern event. Once again, your casters, Edward Teague.
And Patrick Cosgrove.
Bringing to you the fan favorites here, Milton versus Aaron. Aaron, of course, with his ever so reliable Amulet Titan that he took to Fort Worth recently and stormed out like an 8-0 record, I think, at one point.
Outstanding.
And Milton with a local favorite here at the Hardened Scales Affinity. Honestly, probably my favorite competitive deck, me as a Artificer main.
Yeah, we've seen some great reliability and consistency out of Hardened Scales. Got a Walking Ballista coming out here for 1 right now, looks like. Coming out for 2.
Gonna go ahead and dump that that extra counter there. See the welding jars out early too. Good play there for the Hardened Scales Affinity. Got to protect the crucial artifacts.
Most definitely. Also, I would like to take a moment to thank one of our audience members today, Mr. Immoral Oral. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Michigan. By all means, if any type of business ever brings you down to historic Waco, Texas, feel free to stop on by here at Nexus Esports. We'd be happy to have you.
And make sure to announce yourself as Immoral Oral as loud as possible.
I didn't say that. Well, we got an Arcbound Worker coming out. A little bit of a slow start here for Amulet Titan.
I mean, I don't think he got his Hardened Scales out turn 1, and that is just like the turn 1 play. So he's going to come out, get some damage in, and just kind of proceed to go off. One thing to note, though, is that Hardened Scales, while that is the card and obviously the crux of the deck, a Steel Overseer at this point would not be ill-received.
Well, the thing about Hardened Scales Affinity is it doesn't rely completely on Hardened Scales. It's a nice little bonus, but it can win without. We've got Azusa Lost But Seeking coming out here for Aaron. I would like everybody to remember Kamigawa sucks. Remember that. We can never go back to the land of Kamigawa, because Kamigawa was a terrible plane.
And for those who don't know, there is, of course, the creature in question, Azusa Lost But Seeking, 3-drop, 1/2. And you can play an additional 2 lands on each of your turns.
Amazing card. From an amazing set that did not suck, but I have to remind everybody that it sucks because that's what everyone tells me.
Also to note here, Aaron's a little slow on the game, too. Yes, he gets the Azusa out turn 2, but you haven't seen the Amulet yet. So all those bounce lands are just not...
Hardened Scales coming out. This is also not a good thing. And Azusa Lost But Seeking being on the board doesn't really matter here. With a 2-power Walking Ballista, at any time he can simply pull the counters off of that if Azusa starts to become a problem and take care of it. I don't think we're going to see that here because he'd much rather just have the power represented on the board, but it is always an option. Prime time.
Of course, of note here, once again, no Amulet means no complete win condition coming out this turn. But Aaron's a very methodical player. He knows this is happening. He knows he can't just get away with this. So he's going to basically sit back a little bit. And, he's just going to let the lands that he needs hit the field.
Now, having Primeval Titan out right now does do a few things. It basically stops any further aggression until we see a Ravager on board. You can't swing in and just waste things at this point, and Milton knows that as well. He's going to have to keep his creatures open to block this Primeval Titan that's undoubtedly going to be swinging before too long. Very patient play going on here. Gonna pump up the hangerback walker.
And when he does, of course, he's going to allow himself to not only pump it, but pump it again because of hardened scales.
Correct. Unfortunately, I do think Milton here needs to possibly start focusing on getting some pump onto that walking ballista, but with only 2 mana, there's not much of an option right now.
3, technically. He does have the Mox Opal.
Sure. But a little more mana definitely wouldn't hurt. Primetime is still a big body. Can end this game very quickly if he's not careful here. Looks like a very hesitant swing.
I love how he just kind of inches that card like, am I swinging?
Big decisions being made here. We don't even know if we're going to see a block here or not. 1 mana open. He might just decide to take the damage. It's only 3. He's at 21.
I actually think I know what he's trying to do. But we're going to have to wait to see.
What, trying to get flying threats in the air, hoping for the block?
Negative. If I understand right, let me look up Hangerback Walker to make sure. That is a beautiful card art, but not the one that I want. Yes, it is, of course. You could tap, and put a charge counter on it if you wanted, which actually I guess you can't really do at this point. But I was thinking he could get the damage on the Primeval Titan and then finish off the damage with the Walking Ballista.
Possibly.
But it doesn't look like that's what he wanted to do. He just kind of got in for damage.
Remind me to compliment Aaron after all this is said and done. The way he meticulously counts out his lands so we can see what's going on here. I like it.
As I said, he's a very methodical player. There's the Summoners pack coming out, and I believe that means he's going to go get another Titan. Like I said, Aaron's very methodical. He's like, I know there's danger. I know this isn't going to come all the way through. Let me go get a secondary condition.
I don't think that is a Primeval Titan.
No, that looks like...
I don't know what that is. I'll be right back, ladies and
I
gents.
think that's a card we've discussed before, though. There's the Ancient Stirrings coming out. Quite the ferocious little creature.
Yeah. Destroy target artifact or enchantment being just an activatable ability on that is a bit ridiculous. It's a heck of a dinosaur, ladies and gentlemen. Quite the cross to put in. But, I mean, really, you're getting every bit of what you pay for. 9 for a 9/9 Vigilance Reach Trample. Enters the battlefield if you cast it, untap the lands you control. My goodness.
And suddenly Amulet Titan turns into a control deck.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to look at it. He can literally deal with every threat on the board right now at any time he wants to for 3 mana.
To some extent, there are those welding jars. Okay, so there's a Talarian West coming out. That's an engineered explosives.
Interesting.
Not really. Engineered explosives just coming out for 0. Allows him to effectively destroy
All the Thopters.
not just all Thopters, the Hangerback Walker, Walking Ballista,
Everything with
Mox
an X.
Opal.
Yeah,
There's
everything
actually
with an.
too many things to try to stop here. I would let the Hangerback Walker die. Unless, of course, I misjudged how many counters are going on that engineered explosives, but I don't think I did. I think it was going for 0. Milton does have 2 welding jars over there. Looks like he's going to regenerate the Walking Ballista.
Unfortunately, I don't know if Milton really can come back from this. Zakama's very, very powerful, especially this early in the game. 7 mana on the board just means that Zakama by themselves can just rip out 2 artifacts a turn at this point in time. And with every land drop, that gets more and more dangerous.
And it's not just 7 mana, right? It's 7 lands. Many of those can produce multiple mana.
And swinging with prime time just to try to probably bait out blocks here to get rid of other artifacts. Got a gemstone mine coming out. This might be a little bit preemptive, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call that game for Amulet Titan. I don't see a lot of comeback from Milton here.
I'm afraid I think Milton probably should have immediately used Walking Ballista to kill Azuka Lost But Seeking, or at least kill her when that land dropped. Because at this rate, he just can't. I don't think he can survive. So there's the Hangerback Walker dying, creating 3 Thopters. He definitely doesn't want to give Milton another turn. Any turn that he gives him, Milton's just going to be able to pump up creatures. And that is not something he wants Milton to be able to do regardless, especially with those Thopters on the field now.
I hate to say it like this, Ed, but that has little impact right now.
No, I understand. But he is very worried about what Milton might be able to do if given a turn. Milton is a combat king, as it were.
I agree. The thing is, Milton has 2 mana right now.
Don't knock a man with 2 mana. You're right, though. I think this might be game 1 going to Aaron here. There's your 3rd mana, though.
Oh, hooray.
And there, of course, is your Arcbound Ravager. Interesting choice.
It's all he had in hand.
I mean, just an interesting card. All around interesting. You can't uninteresting Arcbound Ravager.
This is true. Arcbound Ravager is an interesting card. It defined an entire standard block by itself, that and Broodstar back in Mirrodin. It really is an amazing creature that will never not be viable so long as the affinity keyword remains in play for modern play. It just does too much work. It's akin to the Goblin Pile Driver for a Goblin deck at any time. It is just a requirement in anything that has artifacts and goes aggressive.
Very much so. So with a an amazing board state, I'm not really sure what.
It's an amazing board state, but there's not enough here.
Yeah, like next turn, Zakama's just basically going to be able to dominate the board, clear everything out. I'm fully expecting to see a Titan swing through very soon to just finish the game.
Like, at this point, he doesn't even need to actively play more creatures.
By the way, I do want to point out, Zakama he's a 3-headed T-Rex.
Yes, he is.
He's a 3-headed T-Rex.
That's bigger than a city, apparently. Those are the ruins of Azorka, or Akorza, or whatever that city was.
How is it not intimidating to see a 3-headed T-Rex?
I didn't say it wasn't. I would be terrified. It has much longer arms than it should. Definitely going to kill a Thopter here. Poor Thopter's going to get the ever-loving crap murdered out of it.
But not before a giant pump. Not really a giant. If Hardened Scales had been out, this actually would have been a significant pump.
Looks like he's going to go ahead and destroy the walking ballista. I don't know if this is just decision making or there seems to be some argument on the board. Pop outside and check real quick.
And you're seeing two very experienced players here like basically count it down how they want this all to resolve. While it may seem the answer was obvious the second Zakama hit the battlefield, Milton is not known for giving up easily. He is going to try to get what he can out of this. Let's see what was going on. Did he get it or no? How much was he short? 3 damage. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw was Milton do a strategic dump of his artifacts into a single unblocked creature, trying to basically create a creature big enough to finish off Aranacosta. The unfortunate problem is that
He was short by 3 damage.
just 3 damage. That's not actually. I told you, really close.
That was close. It was close. Had Hardened Scale survived the
onslaught that was a 3-headed T-Rex.
yeah, then we probably would have seen a different outcome. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out that way.
I mean, Aaron knew exactly what he was doing.
No, very good game. Very good game. Two very experienced players. I like what I see.
Also, that's an interesting part of Aaron's deck. I don't think I've actually ever seen him play it. I wonder if it's a new addition.
I wouldn't doubt it.
You know, in a vacuum, I'd look at this card and say that's really powerful and really Timmy, and I don't think anybody could ever play that.
I think he's a great commander.
That is basically a dinosaur planeswalker, to be honest.
It really is. Elder dinosaur. What a creature type. What a creature type. Ixalan really did kind of go out on a limb. I wasn't a really big fan of Ixalan, to be completely honest, ladies and gentlemen. I thought it was a walking, talking meme. We had a warrior poet of a planeswalker who did absolutely nothing. Watley was one of these weird stabilization planeswalkers, and we've seen a couple of them throughout time. She didn't really have an impact on the game other than she could stabilize a board state or stabilize your life total and maybe draw you some cards. I can't even remember what her ultimate was, but I remember she made dinos and gained you life. I think she could minus X to deal damage to something, which is nifty and all, but I mean, if that's the best planeswalker your set has to offer these days, then you might have troubles.
Oh, definitely.
Lots of sideboarding going on here. Very important.
You know, I want to bring it back a bit. We were talking about earlier the utility of green.
We're seeing it here.
Summoner's Pact is basically a go get an answer. Like, once upon a time, it was go get your big win condition.
But
Not
nowadays,
anymore.
it's go get an answer. So that's the other thing. A lot of control aspects in green are tied to creatures. They fight when they enter. They blow something up when they enter. They do something else when they enter. That thing is ridiculous. And we can see that. Like, Reclamation Sage was a good example, but there are other green creatures that do things. Beast Whisper, for example, allows you to draw a card after every time another creature enters the play. That's a card draw engine. Others allow you to gain life, fetch lands, remove abilities from things, tap things down. Now that we have Ixalan, there was a lot of that in green. It was splashed with blue, but whatever.
By the way, I want a 9/9 Esper-colored creature with 3 keywords that lets me untap all my lands and gives me 3 abilities, one of each of which would be existing in a color.
No.
You know what it's going to be, right?
No.
White would be destroy target artifact or enchantment, or exile it. Blue would be counter target spell, and black would be destroy target creature.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculously OP.
I mean, that's almost what that is.
No, the only thing that the Zakama is missing is like a 1 green, 1 red, 1 white ability that generates some type of token to round out what Naya is as a concept. Like this, that thing is a fantastic example of what an entire shard is supposed to be.
Oh yeah, no, it's fantastic. I do wish it kind of had Vigilance, Reach, Haste. And the only reason I want that is because Haste is more the keyword for red than Trample. Reach is obviously the keyword for green, and White the keyword for, or Vigilance the keyword for white. So yeah, I would have liked Haste better.
Thing would have been busted with
Yeah.
haste. Or First Strike. Oh God.
Okay, easy there, easy.
All right, so back to turn 1. We're seeing a Gem Mine come out on Aaron's side. A Welding Jar and a... What is that thing?
That is a Steel Overseer.
Steel Overseer. Tap, add a +1/+1 counter to all artifacts, right?
Artifact creatures, yeah.
And we've got the Amulet portion of Amulet Titan coming down.
Milton's definitely going to have to do something about that. I mean, Aaron didn't even need it last game, but Amulet definitely accelerates him to a totally different degree.
What has Milton taken 6 damage from? Hardened. Ooh, goodness gracious. Engineered explosives coming out exactly when it needs to. Engineered explosives, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, was probably one of the better artifacts ever printed, in my opinion. It is a straight-up control artifact, and it is in every way, shape, and form amazing.
Well, I would love to use that card art. That will not be happening. So let's just pull up the original Fifth Dawn artwork. Yeah, so Injured Explosive, Sunburst. It enters the charge counter for each color of mana you spent to cast it, because then cast for X. Pay 2, sacrifice it, and destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on EE.
Hardened Scales coming out. If we can get an artifact creature on board, this will be great. What is Steel Overseer CMC?
Steel Overseer CMC is 2. And I'll be honest, I think Milton probably had the Hardened Scales in hand and was baiting it out. If I'm not seeing an Azusa, though, on this turn for Aaron, I'm a little bit confused as to what he's doing.
Going to go ahead and blow up Engineered Explosives.
Milton's got to wonder if he wants to sacrifice that welding jar, or just go ahead and get something out of that Steel Overseer, which I believe he made his Inkmoth Nexus into a creature, so he could. Actually, I guess he didn't. My bad. I'll apologize there. So this is a situation we commonly find ourselves in with Milton. He gets to this point, right? And then he gets no more lands, which is common for him.
Steel Overseer coming back out, though. This is good to see. And Zesty, what would you love exactly? I'm sorry I didn't respond to that comment.
I think he was saying he would love to see an Esper 9/9 with all those ridiculous abilities.
Zesty, don't you dare agree with that man.
In fact, I already have a name for it.
Stop.
We'll call it Control Golem.
No, stop. Ugh.
There is the Azusa Lost But Seeking that I was hoping to see last turn.
And Prime Time comes out.
Did he have enough mana for that? Oh, I see.
He bounced it twice.
He cast, yeah. 3 times, kind of.
Yeah.
He used all 3 land drops for...
Bounce lands.
Yep.
Turn 3 Prime Time.
He's going to basically make his 10/6 double strike trample now.
And ladies and gentlemen, this might be game with just a Steel Overseer on board. No, it would not be an artifact creature. You both need to stop.
You just don't like my Control Golem.
No, I don't.
Too bad. Control Golem for the win.
It would literally win the game every time.
I know, right?
And a hush falls over the crowd as the swing goes in.
Seems that Aaron's just going to let a 6 or 8/6 golem go through with haste. I'm not really sure why he didn't just go for the full thing. yeah, I'm not really sure what was going on there. There, of course, is another delightful welding jar.
We're not seeing any arc-bound worker. We're not seeing any walking ballista. We're not seeing any... rough. Milton, both of these games, has kept a 1 or 2 mana hand, and I don't know if that's the best idea. We have another Hardened Scales hitting the board, but right now, Milton needs some type of protection. Showing the bounce there. Producing the mana. Is this Titan number 2? And Zakama comes out again. And that is going to be game. Whew-wee. Fast and hard, my friend.
Like I said last game, I'm not really sure why Aaron didn't go for the win a turn earlier. Fascinating use, though, with that card, though. I just haven't seen that card before.
Which one's Zakama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in this deck.
Nah, but boy howdy, is it an answer to almost everything in the meta right now. Especially if you can get it out turn 4. With an Azusa on board and being able to play bounce lands like that, you can pay for those abilities over and over and over again. Just bolt things to death, destroy artifacts and enchantments, or gain all the life you want, really. I mean, gaining life is basically useless. Remember, boys and girls, life is a resource, not a win condition most of the time. Most of the time. Quit looking at me like that.
Alright, so that's going to wrap us up here for round 3 of tonight's Friday Night Magic Modern event. Very shortly, we will be moving to the 4th and final round with top seats. I'm pretty sure we'll see Aaron again for the 4th and final game. And depending on victors in our other games, I think basically we won't be seeing Milton again tonight.
Probably not, which is unfortunate. Normally, Hardened Scales does us better. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut to a short commercial break. We will be back at the end of the tournament. And please, stick around after the show for an interview with the winner, if they're willing to give us one. And a little bit of crosstalk afterwards so we can discuss state of the meta, state of Modern, what we saw tonight at the tournament.
What about State of the Union? Can we talk about that?
State of the Union is fine. America has not been invaded by Russians yet, and I do not need to run around shouting Wolverines.
Fantastic. I like it.
Outstanding.
And we are back with the fourth and final round of tonight's Friday Night Magic Modern again. Once again, your casters, Edward Teague.
And Patrick Cosgrove, and we're going to have a bit of a slobber knocker here. It's going to be Amulet Titan versus Mono Green Stompy, the same fast Mono Green Stompy we saw earlier.
Round 2, I believe it was?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and of course, both of these players we've seen before tonight. I think this is going to be a good, fun match. Both players ramp out, both players stomp out. This is honestly, I think, going to come down to can Jake Bourne get enough damage on Acosta before Acosta combos?
It's going to be really interesting, I think. If we see the ever infamous turn 2 Amulet Titan, then this is an issue for Mono Green. If we don't, we've seen the speed of this deck. Unfortunately, the early game defense that Amulet Titan usually relies on with Azusa Lost but Seeking will not be enough to stop Steel Leaf Champion. Especially because we've seen the fact that he'll happily throw 2 Rancors on a creature. If he turn 1, turn 2, turn 3s, and then Rancors, that's game. We got an Experiment 1 coming down on turn 0 here for Mr. Acosta. Well, oh my god, it's Jake Bourne playing the
Mono Green.
Experiment 1, but turn 0 is not looking too good. That's going to be a Rancor on the Experiment 1.
And a solid 3 damage on turn 2.
Gem Mine coming out. Got a slow start for Amulet Titan. We are going to have, oh my goodness, it is another Kamigawa card. I cannot remember her name. Be right back.
Isn't that the Sakura?
It's the snake lady. It's not Sakura Tribe.
No, Scout, isn't it?
It might be. Go ahead and look it up. Sakura Tribe Scout. It is, in fact, the Sakura Tribe Scout. Once again, though, not a lot of protection here. He's probably just going to have to eat this damage if he doesn't take the pump. This is 5 damage coming out on turn 3. More than that, 8 damage.
10 damage, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
No. Holy hell. I don't know where all the damage is coming from, but it came. It came, it saw, it kicked ass.
My goodness. Fast green aggro. Who'd have thought? Not a lot of options that Mr. Acosta has. He's going to have to combo off. He's going to have to do something here to stop this horrendous amount of damage from these 2 little creatures nice and early. I don't think that's going to do it.
Now, but Jake Bourne does have 5 damage on the field right now. Mr. Acosta does have 2 mana open, I believe. 1 mana of any color and 1 blue. So, depending on what he wants to do here, he could... And he hasn't played a land yet, and Sakura Tribe
He has played a land.
to play a land.
He needs to get a creature on the board.
Remember, Zesty, it's never over till it's over. But Aaron's showing how he has the 3 mana open.
What are we playing? Unfortunately, Mr. Acosta's kind of shields down at this point. What is that?
That is a Trinket Mage, I do believe. Good old Trinket Mage. It's a weird card. Like, I like Trinket Mage. I've just always had the problem of not finding a 1-drop artifact that I actually want to use it with.
Well, I imagine he'll be searching for the actual amulet.
It is a. No, actually, he's going to look for the engineered explosives.
Not a bad idea.
Just if Mr. Bourne gets a fight card, this game ends now. Or if he gets out any kind of pump spell.
I don't know what that is.
Actually, that might be enough. That's enough. That is actually enough. He's going to turn some dude sideways, and that's going to be the end of game 1.
My goodness.
Very quick game there. 5 minutes, 30 seconds approximately for Jake Bourne's mono green deck. Rancor is putting in so much work. The card that never should have been printed. No. Oh God, I did not mean to do that, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. Just another one of those creatures. Just a solid green amount. A 3/3 for 2. A 5/4 for 3. A 10/10 for 5, ladies and gentlemen.
That does exist these days, a 10/10 for 5. Gigantosaurus is ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in here.
I would actually laugh.
I wouldn't.
I mean, I'd just laugh with glee.
Oh, okay. And no, Rancor should have never been printed. I don't care about the limiting factor that it's an enchantment. You can love it all you want. It's the simple fact that it shouldn't exist, to be completely honest. If it didn't come back from the graveyard, it would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a 1-drop pump spell.
That just stays forever. I am curious to see how Amulet Titan counters this speed. Also, Colonian Tusker is just a solid creature. 2 for 3/3.
Yeah, no, it's
There's
fantastic creature.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I want to point out that there is a similar creature in white, a 3/3 for 2, but it gets flying and vigilance. However, it has a stipulation it can't be played on turns 1, 2, or 3. Sorry, cast on 1, 2, or 3.
Correct.
It can be cheated out.
Right, but still, like, only green gets these kind of things.
Just a fantastic little creature there. And definitely, of course, turning the tide, as it were. That was good. That
Works
was
great
really
with Evolve.
good.
I wouldn't mind seeing Pelt Collector in this. Are you familiar? Go ahead and look him up.
Collector?
Pelt Collector.
Pelt Collector. Actually, I think I am familiar with Pelt Collector.
Newer card.
Coming out of Allegiance. Right?
No, Guilds of Ravnica.
Oh, you're right. My bad. Guilds of Ravnica, not Ravnica Allegiance. Yeah. But whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, that creature's power is greater than Pelt Collector, put a 1/1 counter on it.
As long as it has 3 or more, it gets trampled. That's not bad. It's super Evolve. It is a good elf. Works great with the amazing amount of pump that there is for elves. There's plenty of elf lords that just make Pelt Collector stupid amounts of good. Though I must say I would like to see a little more elf support. Currently, they only have Elvish Clan Caller as a lord.
No, they don't. Elvish Archdruid.
I meant in standard. I apologize.
Oh. You don't get that many lords in standard.
No, well, that's not necessarily true. Okay, well, allow me to rephrase. Better lords. The 2-drop lord for merfolk is a 2/2 that gives everything +1/+1. The Elvish Clan Caller is also a 2-drop that gives all of their elves +1/+1. And it can fetch other Elvish Clan Callers for 6, but it's only a 1/1, and that's a huge downside.
True.
Imperious Prefect, I imagine, is... Well, I don't know what Imperious Prefect is.
It's an elf. It's actually, I think, a white-green elf, if I remember right. But let me show you.
Oh, we do have an amulet on the board. Oh, that's immediately going to get destroyed.
Actually, sorry, it's not a green-white. But yeah, no, it was an elf lord that made elf tokens.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull it up just for reference there. But that was Imperious Perfect, as mentioned by Zesty. Well done, little turn 1 kaboom there.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't Nature's Grass, though. What is that?
I'm not.
It's destroy target artifact with CMC 3 or less. Or sorry, I think it's artifact or enchantment. But yeah, it's a 1-drop.
Look it up. I don't know.
It's fat. There's the Zuza coming out solidly, by the way.
The Geist coming out. This might just be a little too much ramp for our stompy green friend to deal with, though.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is literally a turn 3. And that's why Azusa is so powerful. It's not that she lets you play extra turn or extra land. It's 2 extra lands. 3 lands a turn, honestly, might be a little too powerful for Modern at certain junctions.
I agree, but remember, everybody.
Kamigawa was bad.
Kamigawa sucked. Freed from the real.
It allows you, it's an enchantment that allows you to tap or untap the enchanted permanent, which I believe is a creature. Basically for 1 blue mana. If you can find a way to
look that up for me.
Yeah, sure.
Psychotrap Scout coming out as well. Ah, yeah. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Kamigawa sucked.
It was actually wasn't Kamigawa. In fact, let me go ahead and make sure that's pointed out there. There you go. Saviors of Kamigawa.
He's going to swing in with the Geist here with a Rancor on.
Yeah, Aaron Coast is just going to let that damage go through.
I don't think there's a lot that Mr. Bourne can do here.
Now, I think Akos is probably going to come out with the...
Zakama?
Yeah, he's going to come out, I think, maybe... No, actually, apparently not. I'm starting to wonder if Aaron's maybe just done away with the 1-turn win that Amulet Titan was known for. The 20 damage straight through.
Possibly. Be interesting if that's the case. It's a really good enchantment. Swinging with the Geist yet again.
Looks like he's just going to scoop it up there.
Yep. 2 aspect of the Hydras coming out there at the end. Attempt to get that damage through, but it didn't quite go off.
So this time, of course, Mr. Bourne is on the play. So it doesn't look like he's gonna go to any sideboarding though. You think he's comfortable with what he can do?
I mean, a deck like this doesn't really require a whole lot of sideboarding most of the time. You kind of have the one game plan and you got to stick to it. Um, I wouldn't mind seeing fight cards in here. That would help deal with a lot of these early game threats. A Rabid Bite most of the time takes care of Azusa Lost but Seeking. It'll probably take care of your early game blockers, any type of little annoyance, low end walking ballistas, etc., etc. A pile driver is actually a really good example. Most of your 2/1s can kill a pile driver off of a Rabid Bite. There's actually one that got printed in Ravnica Allegiance. It costs 2 and it gives a +1/+1 counter, and then they fight. It's a really good card.
I mean, Dramoka's command could do that.
No, we haven't had any turn 1 or turn 2 kills tonight. We've gotten close. Very, very close.
I mean, we had an entire round that ended in less than 10 minutes. And that was with sideboarding and shuffling.
Yeah. I mean, sure, technically it was turn 4, but both of them were playing decks fast enough to where turn 4 might as well have been turn 2 on in a normal type of game. All right. Yeah, in and out in 10 is really good. They had to play a third game just to make it to where we had something to cover for a few minutes.
It was very nice of them to agree to do that, by the way.
No, we've seen some Amulet Titan decks get close. Well, Mr. Acostas, he's had the setup, but we don't think he's running a standard Amulet Titan. He looks as though he's running something that's a little slower, not going for that turn 1 or that turn 2 all-in kill. And that's going to be a Strangleroot Geist. I am curious as to how many times Aaron's going to have to read that card. Little 2/1 hasty creature with Undying.
It's always such a strange thing to have to look over a card again and be like...
These two players did not reset the life counter. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sure they will reset it, though, as soon as they figure out that they're taking damage.
No, it looks like Aaron's just keeping track of it on his little tablet up in the top right-hand corner of your screen.
We'll actually go ahead and get that corrected because that's going to be important. Gemstone Mine coming out. There's an Engineered Explosives for, yep, there's 2 Engineered Explosives coming out. The Engineered Explosives with 2 charge counters on it means it could take care of the Geist. The thing about that is, though, that Geist is Undying, so...
It just comes back. He very well might have it in the bag. He's been playing really, really well tonight. At the same time, Mr. Bourne has been on top of his game. Though admittedly this is a little slower than he has been all night. There's another 4 damage coming out.
I kind of like this. The Engineered Explosives is just there. Like, he knows it's not a big deal for him. He wasn't caring. He wasn't going to bother pumping the Geist. Instead, now he's got 2 creatures out. Acosta doesn't want to activate the Engineered Explosives, except maybe to save him from some damage.
I mean, if we see Rancors come out here. Yeah, double Stranglegeist. Not seeing a 3rd mana, which Mr. Bourne has been somewhat reliant on this evening. Definitely needs that 3rd mana, but I don't see one in hand. At this time, I would like to remind people that we might get a hand cam here pretty soon. I'd also like to remind the members of the audience that they are not, in fact, rappers. And this rhyming is completely unnecessary. That is a courser, if I'm not mistaken. A courser of Crufix?
Yep. Oh. Let's see if I can spell that right.
Ooh, no. C-O-U-R-S-E-R. That is a centaur courser, not a courser of Crufix.
But I like it.
That is a courser of Crufix.
It's also a Centaur Corsair, though. Looks like Jake's going to bring Aaron down to a sterling 6 life.
This is kind of a dangerous place to be for Aaron if he doesn't get some type of control on the board with relative quickness. He can blow the engineered explosives to stop the damage for a turn, but that's about all he can do at this point. And this is the deciding game. This is, in fact, round 3, so being this low at this point is not exactly where you want to be. I wouldn't be surprised to see a prime time here, though.
He played a Vine of Vastwoods, didn't he?
I do believe so.
Did he play 2? There, of course, is the Azusa Lost But Seeking. There's a bounce land. Is that a bounce land?
Yes.
Yes. So he's going to be bouncing a land back to hand.
And he's going to gain life off of it. Is this going to be a Titan, though? That's very important. Back up to 9 is a good place to be. Plenty of mana floating.
Actually, he has no mana floating.
He hasn't been tapping those tap lands as they come in and bouncing back? No. Okay, I've been missing this place. Oh, yeah. Guess I'm just so used to it being out.
Question comes, does Jake Bourne have it here?
Well, I mean, when you go to attack, of course, you should immediately pop engineered explosives.
He doesn't have enough mana.
Ah, yeah. That's what I get for not paying attention.
That is a fantastic dismember. Well placed.
It's going to be a Rancor.
And that's 2 creatures coming in. That is I believe, a 4/1 Geist and a 2/1 Geist.
Now a 3/1 Geist. Or 3/2 Geist. Prime time on top.
5 mana open. If Aaron has a non-tapped land coming in, he could get the Primeval Titan out. And that will change the game considerably. Because that will be 3 life, allowing him to help stabilize.
How will he get the...
He has 2, I believe, bounce lands out right now, right?
Right, but how's he going to play the prime time? It's not in his hand.
No, he has a Primeval Titan in his hand.
Oh, does he?
I believe
didn't see
so.
it. We need a hand cam.
Yep. There is a Coalition Relic. And that's going to, help him accelerate when he gets the next turn. He's got the Engineered Explosives. He can stop the Geists.
He can stop 1 Geist.
He can stop both of them.
Right, but he can only permanently get rid of 1.
That's true. There's the 3rd land that Jason Bourne needed.
I do not know what that is.
Yep, there goes the ever so
Popular engineered explosives.
Yep.
Prime time's most likely coming out this turn.
Definitely.
I'm going to go check to see what that other creature he played was.
And there we see the mana came out there for the Primeval Titan. Primeval Titan hits the field.
The creature he played on turn 3 was a Vastwood Elder. I might have read that wrong. There it is. Dungrove Elder. Excuse me, not Vastwood. Little 3-drop with power and toughness equal to the number of forests you control with hexproof. Not a bad critter. Not bad at all.
Not bad. So the Titan came out. Land drops come out. Looks like he fetched out a bounce land and the Fountain of Life, gaining the life from not only Cursive Crucifix but the Fountain. And then he's going to bounce it and then he's going to play it. So that's going to get him another 3 life. He's stabilizing now.
Yes, he is.
This is where Jake is in trouble. Unfortunately, Jake got slowed down a little bit too much by not getting that turn 3. You're in really 4 land. This is like turn 5. He's finally at 3 mana.
Right.
If he could have taken a bit more advantage of the mana in his hand and pump spells, he definitely could have got damage through.
Probably would have been a win already, honestly.
Almost definitely.
Or at least that courser would be dead. Seems to be discussion going on during play. Decisions needing to be made. This is going to be a Rancor going out on something.
I don't actually like how Jake Bourne puts the enchantment on and then turns the card sideways.
That is going to be a 5/3 trample right now.
But a good pump
It's going to be
spell.
a Vines of the Vastwood.
So there's damage getting through. The Titan does die, but we know that he has another Titan in hand. There's an Azusa Lost but Seeking. We also know, and I do believe Aaron has a Summoner's Pact in his hand. So he basically has a 3rd Titan ready to go.
It might not be a Titan, though.
There's a Trinket Mage coming out.
Amulet of Vigor. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him either. I figured he had more pump in his hand that could get rid of both the Courser and the Primeval Titan, but that's not the case. And at this point, I'm going to have to agree with your statement from earlier. This is kind of where Aaron takes over.
Definitely. I mean, the second Titan coming out, restabilizing with the land drops, bouncing important lands, getting to. I mean, that's a land on top of his library.
I completely agree. I mean, honestly, he just needed to not miss a third land drop, and he did 3 turns in a row. That was the big problem. I've seen a Steel Leaf Champion sitting in his hand since turn 0, which means he's had the ability to get the damage through, and had that Steel Leaf Champion ended up on the field with 2 Rancors attached to it, that would have been a problem. The Courser couldn't have blocked, and that probably would have been game. Searching, searching, searching.
With this, he's going to bounce the Tolarian Academy back to his hand.
Teleria West.
Sorry, Tolarian West. Although he's probably going to gain the mana off of it. Use it to activate the Transmute. Go get something.
Down to 7. I would like to say that it's been an admirable run for Mono Green Stompy tonight. Oh, not even Mono Green Stompy, really. Just Mono Green Fast Aggro. But unfortunately, by this time, Mr. Acosta has everything he needs in his hand to have any answer that he really needs. We got a 4th mana, but that's really not what we needed to see here.
Unless Green has a 4-drop board wipe that I don't know about.
Boy, howdy, would that be impressive.
Honestly, a surgical extraction would have been key when he killed that first Titan.
Agreed. The Dismember was good, but... By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you can play Surgical Extraction in your deck, you should probably play Surgical Extraction.
And everybody can, so play it.
There's no reason not to.
At least put a copy in your sideboard. Or more than one, but it kills combo players. Not the deck. It, like, literally, I once played it against a combo player, and he had a heart attack and died.
I believe it.
It was messy. It was real messy.
By the way, that classic Engineered Explosives looks great on the board.
It really does.
Not going to lie, if I was Mr. Bourne here, I probably would have scooped already. Just me, myself, and I. That Titan number 2 on the field. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up. Mr. Aaron Acosta takes it 4-0 tonight. Mr. Borden really did put up a good showing for a nice, simple, clean, and easy deck that most people weren't expecting. Thank you to all of our players and all of our viewers. Please stick around. We're gonna try to get Mr. Aaron Acosta in here in just a few minutes so he can talk to us about what it is to play Amulet Titan the way that he does.
Ray, let's see here. He was 2-1 in this round, so he's either gonna be 2-2 or 3-1 tonight. Aaron Acosta is definitely our top seed with a 4-0 victory overall. The only 4-0, obviously only 4-0 player. Taking it tonight. 100% undefeated.
Very good job. Ray's Ray's decks just probably didn't do it tonight.
I mean, he was going strong. He just lost. He actually lost to Jake Bourne in round 3.
Not surprising.
Otherwise, we would have seen Ray on here. And I'll be honest, 8-rack and Amulet Titan, if played at the right tempo,
It's definitely an interesting matchup.
Amulet Titan would have a really hard way to do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going
I'm going to cut to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will have Aaron Acosta with us and a couple of words from him, his time in Fort Worth recently, and basically his appreciation for the modern meta. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
And we're back. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen of the stream, I would like to welcome to the stream Mr. Aaron Acosta, our champion this evening. Well done, Aaron. Go ahead and say good evening to the good people.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening to everybody, and it'll Amulet Titan.
Yeah. Give us just one moment. All right, Ed had to pop in and ask us a couple questions, but we will be moving right along. So, Aaron here took it with a 4-0 victory. Good job. Good job. We always like to see an undefeated run. Everybody always likes that. You're playing Amulet Titan, but you're kind of playing an off-brand Amulet Titan. We're not used to that. So go ahead and explain some of the choices in here. Starting off with Zakama, which I'm going to go ahead and pull up here for everybody to see. Give me 1 second to get that up on the board. So we've got Zakama, the Primal Calamity. It's an Elder Dinosaur for 9/9 Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Comes into play, untaps all the lands, and then basically does whatever a creature could ever need and or want to do. This is the first time I've ever seen this main board in any kind of deck, much less a modern one. Go ahead and explain your choice there.
Yeah. I feel like Zakama is definitely like a really underrated card, and it has a huge surprise factor. Like currently in the current modern metagame, prison war decks are starting to pick up steam, and really having this card in hand, being able to search it with Pact and anything against the word prison decks is just so brutal to them. Just play it on tap and then start blowing all the artifacts one by one. It has. I played in the Hunter Burden Memorial Open 2 weeks ago. Played against three war decks back to back, and Zakama just uh,
Plowed through 'em.
by itself won those matches. It was just
Gotcha.
very crucial matches.
I imagine it. I didn't see it tonight, but I imagine it would test well against Boggles as well, just being able to blow up auras one after another.
Yeah.
Turn those things back into 1/1s real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I really like it. This isn't a fast Amulet Titan that we're used to. As we were discussing before you came in here, normally we see Amulet Titan doing everything they can to turn these guys out, these Primeval Titans, and turn them into double striking monsters,
Oh yeah.
and just take out the opponent in one swing. Now you opted not to do that. What made you do that, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
asking?
Usually, I just want to like play best with Primeval Titan, where it's like be conservative and just bringing lands in, bouncing back those Hilary West to start chaining Primeval Titan and running them out of resources. That's really I usually tend to play aggressive, so just swing out with Boris Garrison and just get more lands and start chaining the Titans. But there are some games where like against control matchups where or against people with the play Path of Exile, where you kind of want to play conservative more on the defense. Yeah, really Primeval Titan does a lot, but Zakama also is like a real key player in a lot of matchups. Barely side him out. Some decks that he might be side out is basically against control matchups.
In the control matchup, what do you tend to sideboard in?
What I tend to sideboard in the control matchups, Cavern of Souls, one Cavern of Souls, which is really good. Negates and Dispels, which is
Let me go
basically
ahead.
the key cards.
We do have some people in the stream who are just now getting into Magic. We're going to pull up Cavern of Souls. My god, that's beautiful card art. And of course, it doesn't give me the card art that I need, because why would it? Give me one moment, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go with this one. And that looks great. Bam, there we go. As Cavern of Souls enters the battlefield, choose a creature type, add one to your mana pool, add one to your mana pool of any color to your mana pool, spend this only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type. That spell can't be countered. This is amazing for things like Amulet Titan, because normally, if you lose your Amulet Titan to a one-off, not disperse, but
like Path.
they're
Losing the Amulet
to anything.
to
Really.
yeah the one green kill spells and all that. Nature's Claim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And losing your Titans to counter, that's always terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing feels worse than, you only have 2 mana open and they throw a negate.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a great addition.
Yeah.
It ran great.
Yeah.
I like the more control-y setup.
Yeah. Overall, I think Titan is really good in the modern meta game currently. I feel like
It's top 8
nuts.
at almost every big event.
Yeah. I almost got there 2 weeks ago. I ended up being 12th place in the Hunter Burden, but it was almost there. I gave a lot of people a run for their money to end up being in the top 2 places.
What was the ending record?
Yeah, 12th place.
Oh, yeah,
12th
but
place.
what was the actual place?
It was 10-3.
10-3.
10-3.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
bad at all. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
How long was your streak?
For day 1 it was 7-1, and then day 2 it was X2. Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
All right.
But it was a fun game.
What did you lose to, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, I lost to John, which I played in the SCG regionals like the week before the Hunter Burden, and I lost to that same player beat me with
Well, at least there's some consistency, right?
yeah. And then it's funny, the following week we were in the top table, the last round of the day. He ended up beating me, and I was like, okay, well my deck's not really good against John. Decks that I was lucky not to face against was the Spirits Company deck. I don't know, or Company decks in general.
We've got a Bant Spirits
Mhm.
player here. He did not do too hot tonight, but
Oh yeah.
Corey, if you end up watching this, because we do record them, these streams and whatnot, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus or anything, but
Yeah, those decks are really hard to beat, and also what I lost to was Tron, but it was a real close
everybody
game.
loses to Tron. It's okay. I've argued multiple times that Tron just needs to be looked at nice and hard
Yeah.
on whether or not it still needs to be in the modern format. So, moving away from just your deck and play, you're an experienced player.
Hmm.
You've been in the scene for a long time.
Yeah.
You've been going to semi-pro and professional tournaments,
Hmm.
right? What, in your opinion, is the state of the modern format?
I feel like it's couldn't explain it because it's just so diverse, but I feel like it's in a good state with the Phoenix decks, and then there's a lot of Tron decks. It's still evolving. It's still definitely evolving, but currently the blue red Phoenix decks is one of the decks to beat.
Yeah,
Definitely.
good to see Faithless Looting back in the meta.
Mhm.
Because let's face it, Faithless Looting, and Manamorphose, that's what makes that Phoenix deck actually work. What do you think about the new standard sets coming out? They've had a big impact on the modern scene. Modern Burn replacing up to 12 cards.
Oh
on the
yeah,
board.
yeah,
Are
yeah.
you excited about the War of the Spark coming out? Just
Yeah.
can't wait to see what it's going to do for you.
That's definitely excited, but what I'm really excited about is the next new modern
Horizons?
set. Yeah, Modern Horizons. I feel like that's gonna add like a lot of new things to it, and it's gonna be exciting.
We've seen 2 cards spoiled from that already. What do you think about them?
Oh, I have not seen them yet.
You have not seen them. Okay, well, I'm going to run by one of them by you real quick. It's a Cabal Therapist.
Oh, actually, not that I remember. Yes, yes,
Alright.
not that I remember. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and pull that up real quick.
I feel like that's
See if
gonna be
it's
an
on
interesting card. I don't know how that play out, but it's definitely gonna be an interesting card.
I don't even have it up here yet. Oh well. Yeah, no, the whole
Mhm.
unmoored memory for sacrificing or
Creature.
unmoored ego for sacrificing a creature.
Yep.
That's a big threat. That's a lot of power on turn 1. It's a bit
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did you see the Sarah Planeswalker that they came out with?
Very briefly, I think so.
Here, let me pull it up for you. Because the Modern Horizons is supposed to be a modern competitive out of the box set, so we're gonna get somebody to give us an opinion on whether or not the 2 things that have been spoiled so far are in fact competitive.
I feel like 4-drop planes. Well, it's a lot of 3-drop planeswalkers is the way to go, but it feels pretty good. Don't know how it'll impact the modern game because it's really fast, but it has potential to do something differently.
I don't know about it, man. Like the whole emblem that's a worship
Mhm.
is ludicrous in
Yeah.
my opinion. Because there's still no way to interact with emblems. You can't exile them. You can't destroy them. You can't counter them. Right?
Yep.
They just exist ambiently. She can do it the turn after she comes out.
Yep.
But I don't see her with a whole lot of built-in protection. She can
Mhm.
-3 to create a 4/4 Sarah Angel, but
I feel like maybe in a mono white devotion deck. I remember at the Hardened Memorial, then he ended up like in 10th place playing a mono white devotion deck, and it was really good. I didn't get to play against him,
like
but
running Nykthos and the whole nine.
he was running a lot of Gideons and stuff. But I mean, having a worship type planeswalker along with that.
Gideon tribal. Okay,
Yeah.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Alrighty. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're excited. I hope you come back to us next week. Thank you very much for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Aaron Acosta and the co-host of the Magic the Gathering Friday night event here at Nexus Esports, Patrick Cosgrove. We bid you a good night, and by all means, do remember to come up and see us on Tuesday for our Modern Mixers. They're always fun events, and we're going to try to make something happen. Other than that, good night and good luck.
Good night.